Hey, Marie, it's Eric here. My peeps told me I had to call you to make sure you're actually at the factory. So, are you at the factory? Actually, don't answer that. I can tell from the ambient noises coming through your phone that you are. Did you also tell your rents you were going to stay over at Tina's place for the next 5 nights? Because you better. I know firsthand how protective your mom is, and the last thing we need is her berating us for something that is, honestly, your fault. I mean, it was a pretty easy bet. Still can't believe you lost it. Anyways, I checked the place out myself earlier today, to make sure there wasn't anything that would actually kill you. And I found out that this place surprisingly still has some of its power on, mostly for the lights and security systems. But don't ask me who still pays the electricity bill. Because of that, you also can't go anywhere outside of the warehouse department without a key card, which means you are probably in that gigantic hallway with no light bulbs for some reason. I mean, hey, that does ensure it's scarier for you. What's that? Found a working camera tablet. Well, ain't that handy? If my assumptions are correct, then it's gotta be an SASS system. Those were the most commonly used security systems by companies, because of how cheap they were. If that is the case, then that also means the cameras are connected with all the phones in this building. Yeah, I'll be real with you, I have no idea why they thought that feature was a good idea, other than the fact that security guards used it to prank call all the employees in that room. Oh, by the way, since you're in the warehouse department, and this was a robot manufacturing factory after all, there probably are some old robots from decades ago that nobody cares about anymore. Too bad you can't see them though, because of them being hidden inside the storage rooms, which can also only be accessed by keycards, so only something from the inside can open it. But since the power for this place is still on, there may be a possibility that some of the robots are still partially active. If that is true, then you start seeing old robots from crappy old restaurants walking around. Maybe you can use that phone thing on your camera to prank call them. I mean, that is a better option than just sleeping through the whole night, right? One more thing before I go. If you really don't like sitting around in a pitch-black hallway, you could use that flashlight from your cell phone to light it up. But it probably wouldn't work because of the condition of your phone. I mean, I've seen you drop it so many times it's a miracle it still works at all. And I remember you tried to use the flashlight feature once, but all it gave out was a big flash. But I guess that is better than nothing, I suppose. Alright, I've been talking long enough now, and I really gotta go to sleep now if I don't want to fall on my desk in class tomorrow. Remember, at 6 a.m. you can storm out there and feel proud of yourself for not being a chicken. So, good night. Hey Marie, Eric again. I won't talk that much today because I gotta watch my sleep schedule more often. But I did want to say congratulations for that first night. I mean, when you showed up in class today, you really didn't act like anything scary happened to you. Though I am a bit curious why you didn't want to share anything of what you saw with us. But hey, you can keep it to yourself for all I care. Anyways, I checked the place out again after school to see if you had done anything there. Despite the fact that I found nothing, I did start to notice a pattern of vents. Like I'm sure if you were to check the cameras right now, you would start to notice that there's a vent in every single room. And the size of them, you could probably crawl inside them if you wanted to. Though it's not really that important, so just forget about it. Oh, by the way, those robots I told you about. I know I said last night you could prank call them by using a phone in one of the cameras to get their attention. But I think if you used it while a robot was already inside one of those rooms doing something, that would probably scare it off somewhere else. That's all from me for tonight. Just do what you did last night and you should be just fine. See you tomorrow. Hey, Marie. Eric again. You probably noticed I wasn't in class today. I got a cold and I've just been sitting in my bed the whole day. But during that time, I decided to Google a bit more about the factory you're staying at. Turns out it shut down back in the mid-90s due to bankruptcy. Yes, those robots didn't have that good of an appeal to their customers. The robots themselves were also apparently for some old burger joint that shut down around the same time, though I couldn't find a reason why. It was probably just a lack of customers, though. I mean, everyone around that time seemed to no longer care for any restaurants that use animatronics as their main attractions. Sorry. I also researched a bit more on that security system you're using, and it seems one of the biggest issues it had was some kind of glitch where if an electrical source got really close to one of the cameras while it was being used, it would cause a crash of the system, and you would have to boot it up all over again. But I don't think you have that issue yet, right? Anyways, I need to make myself another tea. Good night, Marie. Hey, Marie. Eric again, and yeah, coffee didn't improve. But don't worry about me. I actually wanted to tell you a good job you've been doing on this bet. Really, you're proving us wrong. I'll be honest with you. If I had lost that bet, I would have just put on a chicken costume and dealt with it. I get scared way too easily by abandoned places, you know? Anyways, I read the newspaper today. It turns out this exact factory is set for demolition really soon. Let's just hope that's not tomorrow. Then the last thing you would see is a giant wrecking ball. Sorry. The newspaper also mentioned when the factory was constructed, which was around the early 60s, I think, which is like super old if you ask me. If you do see a robot that appears to be older than the other ones, you know, then the flashing trick would probably not work on them. The only thing you could do is lure them with those phones you got. Though if they end up in the hallway, I don't think the phone thing will actually work anymore, because of the fact they have you in their sight now. One more thing. I asked my dad if he knew any old restaurants which had robots as performers, and he said he knew only two. One of them was about some kind of bear, where he admitted he didn't know much about that place. But the other was a burger joint called Candy's Burgers and something I forgot. Must have been a thing I saw yesterday on my Google search. Anyways, this candy guy was basically the main attraction. He could sing, bring food to the customers. But my dad remembers that one time the stage lights malfunctions and were way brighter than usual. When it hit Candy in the face, he actually broke down on stage. The staff immediately closed the curtains and the show was cancelled for that day. What I'm trying to say is that if you do see this candy guy, you should probably hit him with a big flash of the light if he gets too close to you. with you. If I had lost that bet, I would have just put on a chicken costume and dealt with it. I get scared way too easily by abandoned places, you know? Anyways, I read the newspaper today. Turns out this exact factory is set for demolition really soon. Let's just hope that's not tomorrow, because then the last thing you would see is a giant wrecking ball. Sorry. The newspaper also mentioned when the factory was constructed, which was around the early 60s, I think, which is like super old if you ask me. If you do see a robot that appears to be older than the other ones, you know, and the flashing trick would probably not work on them. The only thing you could do is lure them with those phones you got. Though if they end up in the hallway, I don't think the phone thing will actually work anymore, because of the fact they have you in their sight now. One more thing. I asked my dad if he knew any old restaurants which had robots as performers, and he said he knew them too. One of them was about some kind of bear, where he admitted he didn't know much about that place. But the other was a burger joint called Candy's Burgers and something I forgot. Must have been a thing I saw yesterday on my Google search. Anyways, this candy guy was basically the main attraction. He could sing food to the customers. But my dad remembers that one time the stage lights malfunctions and were way brighter than usual. And when it hit Candy in the face, he actually broke down on stage. The staff immediately closed the curtains and the show was canceled that day. What I'm trying to say is that if you do see this candy guy, you should probably hit him with a big flashlight if he gets too close to you. You never know what broken robots could do to you after all. That's all from me for now. Good night. Hey, Marie. Oh, sorry. I'm eating some chips here while I'm gaming. I know I wasn't in class today, kid, but not because of my cold. That already went away last morning. I just pretended I was still sick to my parents this Friday. What, can you blame me? Anyways, congrats. Last night here. Really isn't anything else I can tell you to do other than you tell me told us, but just that. So you know what? We'll throw a party for you tomorrow at my place. I think you deserve it. Just don't get too cocky. Still got one night left, but knowing you, I'm sure you got this. Good night. Hey, Marie. Hey Marie, it's Eric here, and I'm a bit worried about you, honestly. I mean, you usually always pick up your phone when someone calls, and you didn't even show up to the party earlier. Are you okay? You didn't even talk to any of us after your last night. Wait, are you at the factory again? Why? You did tell your parents about this, right? Look, the bet's over. You won. What, are you there again to prove something to us about how good you are? Well, please, don't. Look, I had another look at the factory before the party, and I found one of the stores open, and there actually were a bunch of electronics inside, as I thought, but they were all torn apart and ripped to pieces, and it looked pretty recent. Look, Marie, I really didn't want to say this, but I care about you. I don't know who or what could have done that, but you're in great danger, so please just get out of there while you can. If you even hear this message. That was